Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. Yes, we're back at it. This is yet another Star Trek Discovery review. This time we're talking about Season 2, Episode 7, Light and Shadows. As usual, first my thoughts and opinions, and then we'll go over every little Easter egg and reference that I could find. So this episode to me was, how should I put this? It was a good episode of a show that I enjoy. What I mean is it was nothing out of the ordinary. It wasn't amazing, but nor was it dreadful. Rather, it was one of those mid-range episodes. Nothing to make you say this is why I watched the show, but nothing to make you question why you started the show in the first place either. So I guess it's just a straight, flat, simple, good. Alright, that's it. Moving on to the Easter eggs and reference. No, come on, I'm kidding. Alright, you guys know better than this. I always find something to say. And so let's start with the negative. The episode does have its problems, you know, the usual Discovery plot conveniences or questionable moments, like Saru, for example. I mean, he's back to normal, as if nothing ever happened. Losing his ganglia and losing his fear seemed like such a huge thing in the previous episode, and yet here, it isn't even addressed. That was weird. Another weird thing is the absence of Reno, or the chief engineer, or the chief medical officer for that matter. I feel like all of these characters are very important. They're almost essential, depending on the mission, and the fact that they're never around makes no sense to me. There's also the fact everyone gets freaked out by the temporal displacement seen on the bridge, well, because everyone could see it, but then for some reason Tyler didn't see or hear the displacement on the shuttle. I get that the moment was to show us Pike thought he was gonna kill Tyler at some point in the future, and yet he still decided to keep that info to himself. It shows us a darker side to Pike. I mean, it's pretty deep. But the fact only he saw the displacement was kind of unjustified. I know Tyler was busy, but the phaser shot was pretty damn loud. Also, I didn't like the way Stamets and Tilly just proceeded to execute their plan without even talking about it to Saru. They just ran through the hallways and did it. Other than that, as I said before, these are just minor issues, so the episode still was good. I loved seeing the Serac family dynamic. It was awesome having all four of them on screen together. Only Cybok was missing, and I suppose his mother, I guess. But maybe that would make things a little too complicated. It would almost feel like an episode of Modern Family. Concerning Cybok, Serac does say both of our children, so at this point I really couldn't tell you if the writers have just forgotten he exists, or if Serac was talking specifically about the children he and Amanda have. I suppose it's up to interpretation. Speaking of Amanda, I love what they're doing with her. She used to be just Serac's wife, and now she's Amanda Grayson, full-blown character with story arcs and everything. She has this moment with Serac in which I don't exactly agree with her. She mentions he has no authority over her. She's his wife, his partner, and I'm sorry, but you can't use the fact you're his wife to overrule or dispute his decisions when those decisions are made in his official capacity of ambassador. As husband and wife, they're equal, of course, but this situation was different. That being said, the fact Amanda has a strong personality makes total sense to me. I mean, she married a Vulcan, for crying out loud. They're stubborn bastards. And it does fit well with what the original series had previously shown us of their relationship, so that's great. As of now, I don't really have any comments about Spock. His voice seems a little deeper than Nimoy's Spock, and some people have mentioned that the eyebrows weren't very well done. All I can say is I'm going to wait until we see Ethan Peck actually be the Spock we know on screen before judging his performance. Story-wise, the episode was solid. The A-plot and B-plot were established very early on by some great dialogue between Burnham and Pike, and they both played out well. One was, as we just talked about, the Serac family thing on Vulcan, which featured some breathtaking shots of the planet, by the way, the city, the landscape, the statues, The other, a classic Star Trek sci-fi temporal problem, which was resolved with a Voyager amount of technobabble. We get the real Pike back this time round. He's strong, assertive, and yet finds a way to crack a few jokes. The episode makes use of Stamets' tardigrade DNA. I always love it when TV series use what they've already established for the characters, rather than, seemingly forget their stories from week to week. So this, to me, was awesome. By the way, when I talk about TV series forgetting what they do with characters week to week, I know you immediately think of the old style of Star Trek, the episodic TNGs. No, this is a very common problem with serialized modern TV shows of today. They also finally addressed the Tyler/Vox situation. I'm not exactly a fan of the character. I enjoyed his arc in Season 1, but I feel like he's outlived his utility on the show. But at least it's been established on screen in Season 2 that he still has those two sides to his personality, and maybe they'll do something with that. I'm not a fan of the fact he can juggle from one to the other like he did in Episode 15 of Season 1, but I don't know, we'll see where they go with this. I still don't exactly understand Giorgio's motivation to be in Section 31. Is she trying to replace Leland as the head of the organization? If that's the case, why? Maybe she wants to use its resources to get back to the Mirror Universe? I don't know, maybe she's just bored and the section seems like as good a place as any to spend her time. The CG was great. Actually, it was really, really great this time around. We got some breathtaking shots of the ship in orbit of Kamenar. We got some amazing shots of that temporal anomaly. And my god, Vulcan, I'm obsessed with that shot. I just can't get over it. I mean, God. Anyway, so were the sets. The sets were great as well. None of the performances were breathtaking this time around. I mean, they could have been. The episode had enough potential to, but no, don't get me wrong, all of the acting was good and nothing falls flat. It's just that we didn't quite reach the X factor. Alright, there you go. Before we actually move on to the Easter eggs and references, let me just address some of the speculation and theory crafting that's going on. Arium, the enhanced human, seems to be going all iRobot on us with the red eyes and all, but frankly, I have no idea where they're going with this. The probe that came back from 500 years in the future, people have been saying it was modified by the Borg. I call bullshit on that. I don't think Discovery will ever get into anything Borg related. I mean, at least not as a main story arc, maybe just as a one-off thing one day. My theory for the moment, you know, which could be very far-fetched to be honest, but my theory for the moment is that the Red Angel has something to do with the future guy from Enterprise. And so does this modified probe. See, the probe went 500 years into the future. That's around 2757, smack dab in the middle of the 28th century, and the future guy was from that century as well. So maybe the future guy could actually be the Red Angel, or maybe the Red Angel is just Burnham from the future. Who knows? The good thing is Season 2 is very interesting in the speculation and theory craft side of things. I mean, Season 1, everyone guessed everything that was going on straight away. But no one seems to know exactly what's going on with this Red Angel at this point. Okay, moving on to the Easter eggs, and we'll start with everything Spock related. First off, it's established that his shuttle disappeared in the Mutara sector. That's where you'll find the Mutara Nebula, the place where he sacrifices himself all those years later during the events of the Wrath of Khan. The family crypt, in which the entire, but not quite, family is reunited, contains something called Katra stones. There's also some huge, very ancient-looking statues out front. The stones have never been seen before in Trek, but the Katra does seem to be a recurring thing with the Vulcans. First mentioned in the original series, this story element has made its way into the Wrath of Khan, Enterprise, and also in the first season of Discovery. The statues aren't so much Easter eggs, it's just that most times Vulcan has been shown on screen, we can see statues similar to these. Speaking of similarities, the probe returning and being modified resembles Vija from the motion picture or Nomad from the original series, though they were not temporally displaced in those stories. I said similar. This scene of Tilly and Stamets running through the corridors is a panicked moment. The shuttle has disappeared, the captain is lost, the two officers have to get to the transporter room quick, and there are dozens of people executing what seem to be menial tasks very slowly all around them. I could complain, but no, I'm actually going to praise the show for doing this because it's so original series to have people doing useless tasks in the background. I love it. Anyway, the external armor on the shuttle is something not commonly used, but we've seen it before on the shuttles in Voyager. I would assume shields are more effective, and the armored plating is only used in very specific circumstances. That's why we don't see them used very often. Speaking of the shuttle, some people on the internet, I don't know who, just people from the internet, notice that the words VOY, TNG, DS9, and ENT were written on the console, and I love it. It makes no sense in universe, but who cares? This is the kind of stuff I live for. This is the purest form of Easter egg. I love it, I love it, I love it. To finish this off, we need to talk about Talos 4. Spock tells Burnham to go there, and in case this name rings no bells, well, it's the planet at the center of the Cage's story. The planet on which the Talosians try to capture Pike originally, the planet to which Pike is brought back to by Spock later in the original series. It's amazing that we're going back there. Some may say it's unnecessary fan service. I don't think so. I love revisiting worlds and places. I love when new shows build on what the previous ones have already shown us. It's world building. It's what Star Trek is. The coordinates for the planet, by the way, were taken from the 1986 FASA sourcebook, The Federation, and those coordinates were also shown in the title sequence. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. What did you think of the episode? Did I miss any Easter eggs? Let me know in the comment section below. Remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends. Oh, and by the way, regarding my latest news video with the clickbait title, I won't be doing that again. I just wanted to prove my point. Alright, thank you to all the new subscribers, by the way. And yeah, that's it. Live long and prosper, guys.